So pretty crazy round one. Here for round two. Round started kind of early, so down on time. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. But hand is pretty legit. Got the Thought Scour Tasigur combo. So it looks like we need to fetch the old Watery Grave here to Serum Visions on turn one. And we drew a land and we have a Snapcaster, and both of these are pretty legitimate draws. I could definitely see just bottoming this island and then topping the Snapcaster. And it looks like that's what I'm going to do here. And then we can just turn 2 Tasigur this guy, so... always a little wary to be taking extra damage, because so many burn decks out there, but our opponent appears to be playing Escape Shift. So, Thought Scour myself. Oop. Oh no. I was supposed to play Sulphur Falls and Thought Scour with that. Now we just have to fetch an additional black mana, which is fine. Just not what we were supposed to be doing. Oops. That's okay. That's kind of the land we want to fetch. I think Mountain would have been better, but let's leave this remand here for future Tasigur happenings. And we just built our own Tarmogoyf, so look at that. Look at that. You can't afford Tarmogoyf, pay $10 for a Tasigur. And our opponent appears to be just, I was going to say straight red-green. The Teamer ones don't normally play Farseek. I prefer Explore to Farseek, but to each their own, you know? And I think I'm just going to get in there with Tasigur, and I could upkeep tap a land. That's probably the best play. But I also kind of want to just like Thought Scour or Lightning Bolt him, so maybe I'm just better off using it on my own land. Because he's going to have 5 mana, assuming he plays a land. And then maybe if he pays 2 life for this Breeding Pool, then maybe I'll consider tapping his blue source so he doesn't have access to Cryptic. But when I do this, he might just bounce my Tasigur. He might go counterbounce even. But I think that's still okay because I can just like Thought Scour, redeploy Tasigur. So it's not the worst thing in the world. He does go counterbounce. Do I need this Cascade Bluffs for anything? Depends what we draw, I guess. So I'll save the Vendilion Click this time. No, I want to save the Remand for Snapcaster. So pretty easy to redeploy Tasigur for every Thought Scour you draw. Maybe I should have upkeep Pestermited so he couldn't Cryptic my Tasigur. That was probably a mistake. But now, assuming nothing bad happens, well, he just bounces it again. Fine. Bolt you. Yeah, so had we gotten one more attack in, it would have been pretty easy to just go like Bolt, Snap, Bolt. Now I can't really redeploy Tasigur for fear of getting Scape Shifted, so I'm going to have to keep open Snapcaster Remand, and then if he has a Remand of his own, then we're just dead in the water here. So that's my bad. Definitely feel like I have the tools to win this game. Just kind of messed it up. And yeah, I kind of have to go for Snapcaster here because my remand is no good against Escape Shift if he just has an extra land. So they'll just go upstairs with his bolt. Serum Visions maybe into something awesome. Or, you know, nothing. Don't even think this Pestermite really helps me. So he's going to draw 2, discard 2 with Is It Charm, so that leads me to believe that does not have Escape Shift because otherwise he probably could have just gone for it last turn. So I think we're just in the tap out for Tastiger plan and hope it's good enough. Yeah, especially if he deals with his Snapcaster. Going to target Is It Charm, presumably. And do I just let him block here, or do I save this bolt? I think we just let him block. And we'll just delve away again. So, Pure Through Depths. It's a strange one to cast instead of the Is It Charm that already has flashback. And he reveals Escape Shift, so that is certainly not good for me. Presumably he's just going to cast it here and I'll be dead. Yeah, especially with him having 8 lands. You can always mess it up. I messed it up on camera once. That was pretty embarrassing. He sacked 3 mountains. So we'll see how many mountains are left in his deck. He usually have like 10 total. Yeah, 2 basics. That's gonna be good enough. No point in making him go through it any longer. My opponent round 1 did not make me kill him with Splinter Twins, so feel like fair is fair. Terminates can go, bolts can go. And now we're a pretty reasonable looking fish deck here. Don't think I need too much else. And I'm not too worried about him bringing in like potentially Inferno Titan or something crazy like that. So this deck has counterspells, so they don't play their own defense grids. They generally don't have any permanent base stuff that I'm going to want to deal with. So no need for explosives or Ancient Grudge. And I don't think the games are grindy enough to want Keranos. So I think we just keep the 4 Taskers and go from there. I see a CVM in my daily event. 111 people, so probably got some fierce competitors in there. Yeah, we'll try this again. We'll try to not mess up. Well, 7 spells. Pretty tough to mess that one up. We're going to mulligan. And then we'll find this hand that is certainly not great. I feel like I should have won that game 1. If only I had brain cells. Okay. We'll Serum Visions off the falls in case we draw Thoughtseize. And instead we just draw a redundant piece of, or redundant copy of Tasigur and another land, which we definitely don't need. And then I think we're just going to be leading with Vendilion Click and try and get him dead that way. Now we have a negate, so things get a little more interesting. And it looks to me like he has a remand. So we're going to shift gears here, play out the Exarch. And then if we just draw a twin, he's dead. And if not, we'll probably just play a 4-mana Tasigur. Yeah, and I think it's better to just play the falls. Four-mana Goyfs are still Goyfs. And then the next turn we can start playing things with negate backup. So if I were him and had a Cryptic, I would probably just main phase bounce the Tasigur. But he does not have an untapped land, apparently. And now we have another counterspell. So things are looking pretty good. And that's mostly a product of post-board our deck having a bunch of awesome cards for the matchup. So basically every card we draw is pretty awesome. He plays his land on tap, signaling a Cryptic Command. And I think we're still just going for Vendilion. We have him at 14 life, so this is the 2-turn clock. Plus we have a remand for the Cryptic and then a negate for anything else. So definitely just target him. We'd certainly cycle through our Exarch, but I want the information. He's going to Electrolyze. Okay, so that could mean another remand. But if he doesn't have a remand, I would definitely like to negate this and actually put him on a 2-turn clock. And if I negate it and it gets remanded, that's still not the worst thing because then one of his counters is gone and I still have a negate. So I think I'm fine just negating this. I'm just getting the feeling that I should maybe be upkeeping this stuff or draw stepping it because he ends like those land drops he ends up having are very important. So Cryptic, Giga Drowse, remand, negates, forest, mountain, vents. So that's a lot of happenings. It's a lot of stuff. No combo pieces. And nothing really deals with the Tasigur. I think I can harass the Cryptic enough that I don't have to mess with it. Like, Giga Drowse might actually be the most threatening thing. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Giga Drowse, I guess. And draw the perfect card, I suppose. Yeah, so he drew another forest, and I guess I'm just taking his cryptic, and then we can just start activating Tasigur, actually. So, Tarmogoyf with benefits. So now we get a Thoughtseize or a Vendilion back. It's so sick. And we have a Spell Snare. So I don't even think I want a Thoughtseize this turn. I don't think it does anything for me. Rather just be able to win these counter wars. And then if he has not drawn a spell, then he doesn't get to use his mana at all this turn. I suppose I should be careful about him having a top deck cryptic. Like, I'm activating this for value when maybe I shouldn't be. Yeah. So that went pretty well, and it looked like he just had a bunch of counter spells and nothing too crazy aside from that. So I'm pretty fine with how things ended up there. And it doesn't lead me to believe that I will want any of these other sideboard cards, so I think we're just good with how we had it. We can clear out this notepad. Between Vendilion and Thoughtseize, it's pretty uncommon for me to actually not see their hand, so. And this hand is reasonable. Certainly not great. Our clock is not great. We don't have the best counter spells. We have like an extra Pestermite thing, but maybe Serum Visions can fix all this for us. But we can't even play it on turn 1, so that's kind of annoying. Never mind, I lied. But now that I have blue mana on turn 1, I still don't even really want to play it. I think I'd rather just Spell Snare his Mana Accelerator. And that is what we're going to do. See, now I kind of want to play Sulphur Falls and then Serum Visions off that in case I draw Thoughtseize, but now that I have this Stomping Ground, I think I'm fine just playing it off the Watery Grave and then playing Stomping Ground tapped. We draw a Tasigur, which we wouldn't be able to cast anyway. It's going to main phase fetch with Tribe Elder, which is pretty reasonable. Could have had bad experiences against the card Shadow of Doubt. Ooh. So I could just deploy this Tasigur. I think that's pretty legitimate. I'm gonna Thought Scour first. Maybe I should Serum Visions first also. But then I can't play Tasigur, so never mind. I would have had to play Cascade Bluffs there. So that's okay. This deck is tricksy. Gotta do a lot of correct sequencing. He's just going for the Snapcaster Farseek, so probably fairly tight on mana. Which is probably another reason why he made sure to Tribe Elder main phase. Now we're in business, I think. Tasigur's huge. He's just going to chump. And then might have a cryptic, but we have a cryptic or a remand for that. And since he has 5 spells, we're just not going to do anything. He has 5 spells, no land drops, can't scapeshift me, and I'm in no real danger here. And then if he blinks first, I'll get to play out a Pestermite, untap my land, and remand his cryptic. Or I could just cryptic his cryptic. Yeah, maybe I should just cryptic it. Like, okay, so if I go Pestermite, untap, remand your thing, he untaps, probably main phase cryptics this. And then I get to replay Tasigur. But, I don't know, I think it's just better to make sure he just can't bounce my Tasigur. We're drawing a lot of Pestermites. So he just had another cryptic anyway. So other play probably would have been slightly better. He's still stuck on lands, which is good. That gives us some free reign to just tap out willy-nilly here on our turn. Although he could go like land accelerator then scape shift, which is definitely something to watch out for. So I think I want to start things with the Serum Visions. That'll give me 3 mana left over. If I hit basically anything, I'll be able to play Tasigur with mana open still for remand. I mean, I could just like Thoughtseize and then like play a Pestermite and a Serum Visions. I can still make that play Visions, like post Visions though, so not that big of a deal. So I think this ends up working out pretty well. Electrolyze is a charm, negate, peer through depths, and escape shift. So I'm just going to take the escape shift, play out Steam Vents. He has an Electrolyze, so I guess I'm going to go with Deceiver Exarch. And then we're going to untap our Watery Grave and play Tasigur. So now he has to deal with what we have, plus find another escape shift. And neither Electrolyze nor Is It Charm really deal with any of my cards. Definitely have to be careful of his negate. So ideally would like to find another piece of counter magic to actually make it so our remand does something. And here we have a Splinter Twin. So can't go for it here because you could both negate it or just Is It Charm and Electrolyze my Deceiver. So I'm just going to pass, and then maybe on his end of turn we'll do some stuff. So he peers through depths for another peer. Is a charm, Electrolyze, negate. Now he gets a Giga Drowse. So that's problematic. And now he's trying to draw 2, discard 2. So his cards are pretty good right now. Plus he needs another land to actually kill me with Escape Shift. So I think this constricts his resources enough to the point where I don't really care about it. And then end of his turn, I'll probably Pestermite something. So he discarded a land and an Electrolyze. So Giga Drowse, negate, and X. If it was Scape Shift, I think he would just discard the Giga Drowse and keep the land, so he could go land, Scape Shift with negate. So I'm basically thinking about whether or not I'm supposed to upkeep Pestermite here, and I think given my previous interactions, I'm supposed to do that. And then this will constrict him on blue mana, we'll take him off Cryptic, we'll make his Giga Drowse less effective. And if his land ETB's tapped, for example, if it's a Valakut, then he won't be able to Scape Shift and negate. It kind of gives away how weak I am. Just because, like, 5 open mana could represent any number of things. It could be like Vendilion and a counterspell. And now he knows exactly that I have 2 mana, so that probably means a remand, negate, or just a 1 mana counterspell. So he's going to Giga Drowse in response. Presumably tapping my 2 mana. So now if he has X and negate. So this is here, and if I tap his land and he goes landscape shift, I'm just dead. But he has to either have the land and draw Scape Shift, or have Scape Shift and draw land. So if that's the case, I think, yeah, this is probably bad. If that's the case, I think my best play is to just untap my land and then play another Pestermite and do basically the same thing. And then if he has it, he has it. And we'll see. Yeah, doesn't have it. Okay. Cool. I think I probably could have won that 3-0, but played a little bad in that first game and then a little bad here. And we are seeing matchups where if they're Cryptic Command and not removal based, having multiple Taskers is actually kind of bad because we actually start drawing multiples, but it has not been an issue casting multiple Taskers per game, so that is definitely something worth noting.